Hello, I am Sneezy Ferret, or Lottie, and I am here to judge people. Welcome to Am I the A-Hole, with me and my husband in a minute. Ooh, okay. Am I the a-hole for cancelling my financial support to my son's wedding after his fiancée catfished him to test his loyalty? I got a lot of things to say about this. My son, 23, got engaged a few months ago. Recently, he admitted to me that he'd been texting with a girl he met on Tinder. That alone already shocked me. He's engaged, and that's obviously not acceptable behaviour. Ooh. Okay, no, that's definitely not. But here's the twist. The girl on Tinder was actually his fiancée. She made a fake account to test whether he would stay loyal, and when he flirted back, she confronted him. Yes, what my son did was messed up, but creating a whole fake profile to trap your partner, that's manipulation. If you have to run sting operations to trust your fiancé, maybe you shouldn't be getting married. I don't think your son should be getting married either. After learning this, I told my son I wouldn't be paying for the wedding anymore. I don't want to support a marriage that already starts with lies and games from both sides. Some people in the family say I'm overreacting and punishing both of them. What's your opinion? Punish both of them, that's my opinion. He's not grown up enough to be married if he's not willing to be faithful to his fiancée, and she is not ready to be, well, she shouldn't be marrying someone that she doesn't trust. You just know that that's not how a great marriage starts. To me, that's a sign that both of them are too immature to be getting married. I say that as someone who got married, how old was I? I got married in 2006. That's really bad. 18, 19? I'm old. How can I not remember how old I was? Alright, I'm going to have to work that one out later. Wow, that's really, really bad. Let's move on to the comments. Hi. Not the a-hole, sorry, but your son being on a dating website while planning a wedding while his fiancée was tricking him. Sorry, but that doesn't sound like a healthy relationship. And honestly, if the girl is smart, she should break it off, as it shows your son isn't loyal. Again, because of being on a dating app. Unless there is an agreement between them two that they are allowed to date outside of their relationship, this is a big red flag. Talk to your son about it. If he really wants to get married, because if he is disloyal now, why does he want to get married? A divorce is expensive and most of the time ends in worse condition for your husband. Okay, so I have an opinion which is probably not going to be popular, but it's my opinion. That allowing to date outside of their relationship, I don't understand why you would want to get married if you still want to have relationships with multiple people. That just makes no sense to me. Hello. Your opinion. Sure. All right, I'll run through it quickly with you, right? And then...
Yeah.
Coffee fee.
Hello.
Okay, so this parent
Right.
has cancelled the... You're not going to be in camera.
I'm not going to be.
Yeah, sorry. I'll move it around in a minute. So this parent was paying for their son's and their fiancée's wedding, right? Okay.
Right.
But it's now council paying for it because the son was talking to someone on Tinder, and apparently the person he was talking to on Tinder was his own fiancée who was seeing whether or not he was faithful.
Right.
Now, my opinion to all that was both of them are too immature to get married. There's no bloody point to it. He's willing to cheat, and she obviously doesn't trust him. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Now, the comment I just read was going on about unless there is an agreement between them two that they are allowed to date outside of their relationship, this is a big red flag. My thought about it was that I don't understand why you would want to get married, commit to that singular person if you still intend to date other people, regardless of whether or not you both agree. To me, that makes no bloody sense.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're going with that one. Although, obviously in our relationship, we are completely...
monogamous.
Exclusive is the word I was searching for. But, I don't know, as long as both parties agree to it, then other people can do other things, I don't care.
Yeah. I guess my thing is just that a marriage is generally a commitment of two people together to be together for the rest of their lives. So to still want to date outside of that relationship, I don't understand why you would do that.
Yeah.
That's my own thing anyway. I'm old fashioned, all right.
Yeah.
I'm very old
fashioned. I wouldn't necessarily
fashioned.
call that a traditional marriage. That it would sound weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really get it anyway. But fine, I don't get everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we're supposed to understand everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at more comments. Hey Ferret, thank you for knocking my camera. I appreciate it. I love how she catfished him and it was the first time he did it. The poor innocent son. To think he isn't a cheater is ridiculous. Yeah. Not the a-hole, but you seem more unhappy with her than him, which is unfortunate. I don't agree with how she did it, but she apparently had good cause. I doubt her catfish is the only girl he was contacting. He doesn't get to be offended she caught him doing wrong. Sounds like he's especially is not ready for a marriage. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I do believe that your relationship is in massive trouble when there's no trust there, and if you're not trusting them enough that you feel like you have to test them, perhaps there are more trust issues to work on before you even consider marriage. But I can't completely blame her. It's a bit like asking whether or not it's okay when you are worried about your partner cheating, you check their phone. It's a very grey area. You know, I don't feel the need to do it to you because I trust you. You're too lazy to cheat.
Well, no, okay.
It'd be like that Lee Evans joke, right? We've been together that long that the only way you'd know how to flirt with a woman would be to go up and give them a dead leg. Go, I like you, I do.
Okay. Let's look at this in another angle. So, right, you're going to have to help me with this one.
Sorry, I'm taking my pills, but yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah, you carry on, I'll just waffle on for a bit. Right, I want to say it was Hercules that had to go and get the golden fleece so he could marry someone's daughter. Is that right?
I don't think it was, but I'm not entirely sure.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The big hero has to go off and do something brave to prove that he's okay to marry the princess.
Yeah, fight the dragon.
Yeah, whatever. That's
Sorry,
dumb.
I'm going to just hear me crunching.
That's dumb. We don't send people off to go and get golden fleeces or fight dragons or do anything like that. That's a stupid way to do it. You don't prove that you love someone. You just love them. You know? I don't know, I'm waffling.
No, I agree with you. Dear users. Oh, it's from the AP. Okay. First of all, thanks for all those answers and critique on my answers. After reading through hundreds of your comments, I want to take a moment to genuinely reflect and admit that many of you are right. If I'm being honest, had the roles been reversed, if it had been my daughter engaged to a man who started flirting on Tinder and she pulled the exact same move to confirm her suspicions, I wouldn't have called it manipulation. I probably would have said good for her for finding out now rather than later. The double standard hit me. I reacted emotionally and focused way too much on how she exposed the issue rather than why she felt the need to in the first place. She didn't create the problem, my son did, and she reacted to it. I'll try to give you all an update soon. I plan to talk to both of them again and hopefully get a clearer picture. Thanks again to everyone who gave an honest input. You are a wonderful parent. You're a wonderful... That's wonderful parent. You've taken on advice and literally that's wonderful person behaviour.
Yeah. It takes someone of great strength to admit when they're wrong. Hence why I'm wrong all the time, because I'm so strong.
Yeah.
But no, it does take someone of great strength.
There is a double standard, you know, but that's natural. It's because it's your child and you want to think the best of them. I do think, though, that this has probably been in your best interest because now you're not paying for a wedding that will soon end in divorce. Because I meant what I said in the beginning. If the trust wasn't there to begin with, regardless of what's happened, they shouldn't be getting married. It's bound to end in tears. So, yeah, you found out, and, you know, the fiancé found out that your son was willing to cheat. And, I mean, the catfishing thing, again, it's a grey area for me. I understand why people do it. I don't necessarily think it's the best way of doing it. I prefer talking. But, yeah, either way, you're a good person and a good parent for whatever that means from a stranger on the internet. Let's read the next one. Okay. Am I the a-hole for being bitter that my sister used all of our college money to avoid student loans, leaving me with nothing? Oh, Hi Reddit, I've been a lurker for a while now and just need to get this off my chest. I, 18 female, have a sister 26 female. Let's call her Jen. Both of us were supposed to benefit from our dad's GI Bill. He served in the military and it provided enough money to help both of us go to college without taking on huge loans, assuming we also got scholarships. That was the plan. Jen went to a state college. The understanding was that she'd use some of the GI Bill for her first 2 years and then cover the rest herself, but things didn't go as planned. She failed some classes, had to take summer courses, and ended up needing an extra year to graduate. Because of that, she didn't just use more than half of the GI Bill, she used all of it. Every last dollar. Now Jen is 26, totally debt-free and working full-time. The idea was that since she used the GI Bill entirely, she'd help financially when it was my turn. That didn't happen. When I got into my dream school, a private out-of-state college, I almost had to decline. My parents couldn't afford it and there was nothing left from the GI Bill. I felt trapped in a corner, so did a last resort. I applied for an army scholarship that covers 3 years of tuition in exchange for service after graduation. I got it and I'm now at the ROTC. On top of that, I'm relying on 5 other scholarships to make things work. ROTC isn't terrible and I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I can't help but feel bitter. I'm committing years of my life to the military partly because my sister used everything that was supposed to be shared. She got her education completely covered and is now living her life debt-free, while I had to restructure my entire future just to afford school. I haven't brought this up directly with her or our parents. I don't want to sound ungrateful or start drama, but part of me is angry that nobody said, hey, this isn't fair, or even tried to stop her and make her take out loans to cover her mistakes. My parents just let it happen. Okay, if clarification is needed, so am I the a-hole for feeling bitter? No.
No.
You are completely justified. That was cruel and deceitful.
Yep.
And the fact you haven't brought it up with your parents yet, I think you should. Otherwise, you're going to end up very, very resentful, and for good reason. But you need to talk to them and ask them why. Because I don't quite know how it works, but I'm pretty certain that your father would be the controlling interest. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it would have to go through him before any money was removed. And if that's the case, and he was quite fine for your older sister to just have everything and leave you with nothing, that's a massive issue.
Mm-hmm.
I
just remind your sibling that you're very upset and very good with guns.
You can't say that. The one thing I will say to you is that you will, at the end of all this, be able to turn around and say that you did this on your own, without any help. Your experience in the military may be been good for you. I know it's not what you wanted, but it may be a case of... I'm trying to look for the silver lining here, because you have been majorly screwed by your family. All right, and there's no taking away from that. You have been. Your sister for being selfish, although you might... I don't know if you are actually aware whether she knows she's taken all the money, or whether your dad didn't actually say anything. So that might be worth finding out. The only thing I can say to you is that you got into the school you wanted to be in, and you definitely deserve to be there. You are going to have... Well, you seem a lot better person than your family. So again, I'm trying to find that silver lining. Right. And
I've got the silver lining. In all honesty, you've dragged yourself up from the bootstraps. Okay? You're actually making something of your own life that is yours. Your sibling has had to lean on other people, has had to rely on others.
Steal from others.
True.
That is if she knows, because there may be a possibility that her father just kept paying for it and she didn't know. So, it'd be worth finding out.
But my point is, going forward, you've got the, I'm going to use the word gumption, to fight, to get out there into the workplace and the world around you and take what you want from life.
Yep.
Your sibling doesn't seem to have that.
Yeah. You're going to be okay. So yeah, you have been massively screwed over, but it seems like you managed to at least get what you want, although with a lot more work than what should have been necessary, and you are now having to commit a few years of your life to the military. I really hope that things turn out for you well. I hope things work out with your parents, but you really do need to talk with them and find out exactly what happened. Was this just your sister is a very selfish person who just kind of like wore them down? Or, and I mean, that's still bad on your parents because that shows a weakness. They were willing to just, it was easier for them to placate one sibling rather than help the other. So, yeah. Let's have a look at the other comments. I'm going to assume lots of biatch. There we go. Your sister effed up her timeline, failed classes and burned through both of your shares of the GI Bill without consequences, while you're now trading years of your life to the military just to afford school. Of course you're bitter. She just got a free ride while you're stuck with ROTC and 5 scholarships. Your parents should have stepped in to make it fair, but they let her take everything. You have every right to feel cheated. Maybe don't explode at her, but you're absolutely justified in quietly resenting this mess, not the a-hole. Dude, I would disagree with the whole quietly resenting it. Living with resentment is not a good idea. Both of us did for many years through our childhood, and it's just, the only person it eats at is you.
Trust me, if you've got something to say it. Alright? You might lose a friend, a relation might be upset with you, but just say it.
Yeah. Being honest about your feelings is the best policy. It's difficult sometimes, but you really should. I can't remember what the quote is, but it is something along the lines of resentment and revenge being a poison you take yourself. So, and hoping that the other person is upset about it. so yeah, that's somebody else's poison, not yours.
Yeah. I believe the actual quote is resentment
breeds contempt. That's another one though.
Yeah. Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Google it.
Yeah, we got another comment. Exactly. OP is not the problem here at all. That top comment nails it. Her sister completely mismanaged her own education and burned through resources meant for both of them without any accountability. OP isn't bitter for no reason. It's entirely valid to feel resentment when someone else's poor planning leaves you making huge life sacrifices just to get what they got handed to them. Her parents letting it slide just adds salt to the wound. OP has every right to feel how she does. Yep, I completely agree. Your feelings are completely valid, but please don't live with that resentment. You can... It's the whole kind of like... I'm not saying you have to forgive, but tell them exactly how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Because they deserve to share a little of the pain that, you're in. Okay, let's do one more. Ooh, this one should be good. Okay, so... Am I the a-hole for letting a guy sit next to me on the train to protect me from a crackhead, then refusing to give him my number or socials? No. I, 21 female... It sounds like you were sat next to a fedora, but okay. I, 21 female, was riding the train when this clearly unstable man started yelling in people's faces, walking up and down the aisle acting aggressive. I was sitting alone and got really anxious because I'm small and kind of look weak, so I was scared he might target me. A guy, mid-20s, sitting in front of me, asked if he could sit next to me so the guy wouldn't come after me. I said yes, because I was honestly frightened and didn't want to say no and risk drawing attention. After he sat down, though, he started asking personal questions. If I had a boyfriend, where I lived, and if I wanted to be his girlfriend. Ugh. Anyone who asks you, like, immediately, do you want to be my girlfriend? Yeah. That's really bad. That's, like, massive. I'm not one for, like, the wave red flag, but that's a red flag. Mm-hmm. I told him I had a boyfriend, I don't, and lied about where I lived. Good. He then asked for my socials, and I said I don't use social media. He didn't say anything after that, but just sat next to me looking really pissed, like he was mad I'd used him, and then gave him nothing in return. Now I feel kind of guilty. I let him sit with me for my safety, but then I completely shut him down afterwards. Am I the a-hole for that? No. Here's a question, right? If, for example, you were to come across this man, and he was drowning, and you pulled him out, and you gave him mouth-to-mouth, but afterwards you refused to give him your socials, and you refused to give him your number or be his girlfriend. Do you think... Am I asking this the right way? I completely lost where I was mid-sentence. It's ridiculous, no. Someone coming in and wanting to act like the White Knight is not demanded of a kiss, all right? This isn't like, White Knight, yes, fair maiden, I have now rescued you, give me your hand in marriage. No, that's utterly ridiculous. Yeah. Doing something nice in society does not mean you are then required to...
You don't
sleep with them. I mean, let's face it, because that's what...
Yeah, that's ultimately what he wanted.
It's Fedora Man, okay? Yeah. When we first met,
mm-hmm.
you literally offered to walk me home, and that was a good, 2 miles across town? even though both of us were massively drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
mile
other
and a
side of
half.
town, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You know, because it really was like the other side of town. It was a very long walk, and you
Yeah.
still did it. You didn't ask me for. Well, you did ask me for my number, but if I'd have said no to you, I don't think you'd have got pissy with me.
No, not really.
No, I mean you didn't even remember my number. You literally had my phone number and rang up and said, "It's a motorbike." I can't remember what her name is, but I really like her.
Okay, in my defence, I had had a lot to drink the night before, and
It was your birthday.
yeah, and I was massively hungover, and I have a terrible memory anyway, especially for names. And yeah, no, for once, a beautiful woman actually smiled at me and was really nice, and you're darn right I was going to try and hold on to that.
I was really, really, really uncomfortable because I got invited. Well, I wasn't invited fully. I came along with my half sister, who was also invited. So I went with her, and she was like, "No, no, no, you've got to wear something else," because like my usuals, I was kind of like a goth at the time. I was like, "Okay," so she like lent me this like, all right, what we would call normie wear back in like this horrible like pink shirt and that, and I felt just. Ugh. I arrived. They're all freaking alternative.
I know, you had a blue strap top on.
I didn't. I had this like weird pink and white shirt, pinstripe shirt thing, and like jeans. Not my usual kind of like black leather jacket. And either way, when I arrived, I just like wanted to go hide, and I saw that there was someone out in the garden fire breathing, so I went outside, and it was him.
That's not how we met.
That is, and then
That is not how we
is, and then literally you said, "Do you want to come and have a drinking contest with me?"
No, because I literally opened the door to you.
What, to the back door?
No, front door. I let you into the house.
No, wasn't
Yeah.
you? It wasn't.
Who was it?
I know names, but I don't want to mention right
Oh,
now.
okay,
I don't want to.
yeah.
But no, because you were literally outside with I can't say names, with and Cat. Fire.
I don't want to say names. I don't want to say names.
I'm trying my best.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, and literally I just went outside to, like, because I walked past two of your friends who were also talking to me, and it was like, I felt like fresh meat. It was horrible. Like, oh, it's a girl! It's a girl we don't know!
Yeah, we didn't see many of them.
That was fun. And yeah, then we had a drinking contest. I
Which
won't
I
go
won.
into... You did not win, and
I
you know
so won.
you didn't. All right, we're not going to get into this discussion. Right, okay, so moving on to the comments.
Right. Oh, quick thing I'll say. Right, to the young lady who feels uncomfortable. First of all, if you have any sort of worries regarding your own safety, then self-defense classes or something along those lines would probably help build your confidence. And no, totally, of course, the other guy didn't deserve anything.
No.
If you're just trying to be kind and help someone out, you do it without want of reward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, otherwise you're not a hero, you're just a...
Douchebag?
Yeah, that douchebag works better. Okay, so comments. Not the a-hole. Learn now that you are not obligated to answer every question posed to you, especially intrusive ones from strangers. Sorry, burpee.
No.
You don't have to give your correct phone number to return an item. Make one up. You don't have to give your real name when ordering magazine subscriptions. They'll only sell it. And you definitely don't have to tell a stranger on a train about anything about yourself. That's very good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Before giving out any information to any person, company, or charity, ask yourself why they want it, whether it's necessary in order to obtain a product or service, and how much information you actually need to disclose. You might need to give your address for delivery, but not your email or phone. If you give companies your real phone number, they often put it on the packaging. Now, when you throw away the label, some scammer can get your name, address, and phone. I have a fake name, address, and phone number that I use consistently, only giving whichever one of them is necessary to achieve the goal. Stores don't need your real phone number, address, or email to return a product. So what if this guy seemed upset? You don't know why he wanted that info or what he would do with it. It's not your job in life to make sure that you never cause a ripple of consternation. Your job is to keep yourself safe. Being assertive and being aggressive are very different. That's very good advice.
It is good advice, but it's not important. Fair enough. Data protection and
I
all
think
that sort of
I think
thing.
because you can't control the reactions of other people.
Yeah.
but you can control your own
But-
self.
But this is just a creepy bugger on the train home. This
Yeah.
isn't like some scammer.
Yeah, but I think what they're trying to get at, John, is that they don't know what they're going to do with that information. They could get stalky, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
fair
other
point,
advice
fair
was
point.
just good advice for life, really, which is
Yeah.
not giving out. You know, you don't have to answer these personal questions about yourself.
Yeah.
I personally think that's good. I myself never give my real name. Every social media account that I have is all under different names. I never post pictures of my children. I'm just,
Mhm.
which is weird because I have a YouTube channel where you can see my face and everything. You know, and I've said my name and everything. I am Lottie. I am Ferret. But yeah, some things are just, some people will use them
Mhm.
to their own advantage. And it sounds like you had a really bad encounter with both a crackhead and a incel, all in one trip.
Yeah, nice.
That was unfortunate. Well, I'm going to leave this very cursed episode here because I've got to now cut lots of stuff out. It's personal stuff. So, thank you for joining me, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.